My name is Bill Farrell. I am the technical lead for Go on ZOS, but I also have close association with this topic, which is the zopen community. And I did want to talk about the zopen community as a way to modernize ZOS and improve your productivity on ZOS. So, what we offer, starting at the beginning here. Nope, I'm not. What we offer with the zopen community is a way where you can go from a very plain, vanilla interaction with ZOS into, which makes you unhappy, into an amazing, colorful world with multiple screens and a wide variety of tools to improve your productivity as you work in ZOS. So for example, sysadmins can use C3270 or NCDU, Vim, and all in one ZOS Unix session. So why does the zopen community exist? We noticed that among all the popular open source tools that were available on various platforms, ZOS was lacking behind in terms of the number of tools available and to a certain extent on the quality of tools. Solution was to form a community whereby we and any members of the community can port tools and make them readily available on ZOS. And we've been in operation for a couple of years. And in that time, we've managed to port a wide variety of tools, including some compression, networking, source control, a variety of editors, security tools, languages, even AI have been ported to ZOS. And how are we different from previous efforts? Well, this is open from the beginning, and our motto is upstream first. So not only do we port the tools, we make them available on our own open source website, but we also upstream the changes to the original tool site whenever they're accepted. And we have fully upstreamed so far Bash, Perl, Make, iconv, and less, and we're working on that moving forward. Now, one interesting and very useful aspect of our zopen community website is that we promote automated builds. So if you do a pull request to port or fix one of our tools, a GitHub action will spin off an automated build, and that successful build will spin off automated tests. Automated tests, succeeding, will spin off automated releases and result in automated updates. So everything is automated. The CI/CD pipeline is fully automated. Now, simplifying the environment with the zopen tools, we have a package manager. So it turns out that you can install these tools. If you're used to, for example, on Linux, if you're used to apt-get install, it's a similar experience. You do zopen install, and having done that, your tool will automatically install in more or less exactly the same way as it would be on various other managers. As I mentioned, we have an abstracted build framework, common pipeline for all the tools, and our secret sauce for getting these ports done is that we leverage the saucelib library, which is a bridge between the traditional, we call it LE language environment, C library, to glibc, which is typically expected by open source tools. Now, I'm going to get Igor to do a demo for us. Igor Todorovsky is the technical lead for the zopen tools project, and he has graciously agreed to lead us through the demo today, as well as Haritha, who is a developer on the project as well.
Hi everyone, my name is Igor Todorowski, and I'm the zopen Community Development Lead. Throughout my experience with the zopen community tools, I found that they have helped improve my efficiency and developer productivity significantly. And I hope that from today's demo, you'll be able to realize how effective a lot of these zopen community tools are. So the first stop for today's session will be to take you through our zopen community website. So the zopen community website is located at zopen.community. And it's really the main hub for the zopen community initiative. When you enter the zopen community, there's a couple of ways in which you can navigate it. So the first is to explore and engage, which we're going to take you through. So this is really how to leverage the zopen community tools and take advantage of them. And then the other is to collaborate and contribute. So if you're interested in helping with the zopen community initiative, contributing a new port to ZOS, or even providing feedback, this is the place to go. Okay, so with that said, let's talk to you about how you can leverage the zopen community tools. So the first step will be to take a look at the available tools and libraries in the zopen catalog. So once we click this, we'll see that we have a wide array of tools available under a wide array of categories. Now, if I wanted to look at the build system ports, I can do that, compression tools that are available for utils. But if I wanted to narrow in and take a look at, let's say, security tools, I can use this dropdown and tune in specifically to the security tools that are available in the zopen community. As you can see, there's quite a few. There's a description available here as well. Now, the next question you may have is, how do I actually obtain these tools? So there's a couple of ways in which you can do that. You can either download the PAX files directly by clicking on one of these links, but our recommendation is to use the zopen package manager. And the way to get started with the zopen package manager is to click on the Getting Started page. So the Getting Started page has a couple of ways in which you can obtain the zopen package manager. The first is if you already have bash and curl on your file system, then you can take advantage of this one-liner. All you need to do is copy this, paste it into your ZOS Unix terminal, and you'll be ready to go. The next option is to download the meta pax file. So the meta pax file contains the zopen package manager as well as a few other tools. So you can click on this link, and then it will take you through this website. So you can now download this meta pax file directly onto your system, whether it's a workstation, transfer it over to ZOS, extract it, and then run the zopen in a command, and you'll be ready to go. So now let's switch over to the terminal so that we can demonstrate this. Okay, so now that we're shifted over to the terminal, we're going to be pasting that one-liner since I already have bash curl on my file system. And we're going to go through the process of installing the zopen package manager. So the first question that it's going to ask you is, which root directory do you want the zopen file system to be installed to? So we put in a lot of effort to be able to allow you to install the zopen tools to any location, whether it's in a shared location, like use your local zopen, or in your home directory. So by default, it actually suggests that you install these tools into your home directory. And the reason for that is that a lot of the times developers are really blocked or impeded by the fact that they need to go through a system administrator to be able to order some dependency that they need for their project through Shopseed and then install it. Sometimes that turnaround time can take from 2 to 3 weeks. So the whole idea here is to be able to install these tools into your home directory and then start using them immediately. So what we're going to demonstrate here is how you can do that yourself as well. So we're going to install these tools into zopen GSC under my home directory. Then it's going to ask me to validate everything I've typed in, and I'm good with that. I'll type in yes. And now it's going to go through the process of downloading all the prereqs that are needed to be able to run the zopen package manager. So it's downloading curl. We're actually extensively using curl to pull data and the releases from GitHub. We're using JQ to process JSON. We're also using, and we recently added this functionality as of a couple of weeks ago, GPG and pin entry to be able to sign and verify the packages that we are providing on github.com. Okay, so the installation of the zopen package manager is now available. The next step is to be able to configure it properly. So it recommends that we source this zopen config file. Essentially what this does is it sets a set of environment variables, including your path environment variable, to be able to locate your executables, lib path for libraries, etc. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Okay. Perfect. So now we have the zopen community package manager set up. We can type in zopen-help. And as you can see, there's a set of commands that are available to us. Everything from listing tools to installing tools to be able to also audit tools, right? So we can now find out if there's any vulnerabilities that are associated with the tools. And this is currently in beta. We're continuing to enhance it over time. So the first command that we're going to run is called zopen list. So let's look that in. And as you can see here, it's showing us all the tools that are available in the zopen community. Everything from Emacs to Groovy to Lua and many others. Okay. But in today's session, we're going to show you how you can go from that bare bones ZOS Unix session to something a bit more modern. So what we're going to go ahead now and do is install the set of tools that we need in order to make a more modern ZOS experience. All right, so that includes installing Git for source control, GitHub CLI to be able to view pull requests through GitHub. Rather than using the browser, we can do it now on the command line. Vim with dataset.io support. So this enhances Vim so that you can actually view and also edit datasets directly from Vim. LazyGit, which is a great utility for being able to visually navigate through Git commits, Git logs, etc. NCDU, this is a tool that I personally love. It's great for disk analysis. So if you have files that are taking up a lot of space, it can easily detect them, and you can navigate through TUI type of terminal to delete them very efficiently. C3070, this is a great one for system admins and also users who actively use TSO and ISPF can now connect to TSO and ISPF directly with C3070. Core Utils provides us with a lot of new base tools that enhance the existing tools on /bin and Tmux for us to have that persistent tree management. Okay, we'll also add -y so that we can ignore the prompt and answer yes to all incoming prompts. Now I've actually already gone in and installed all these tools to avoid wasting unnecessary time. So the tools are already active and ready to go. So now we have Git available to us. I'll type in Git version. It's not the latest version that's available on the zopen community website. All right, so the first step will be for us to actually clone an existing repository. So I'm going to go ahead and take you through this repository that I've created. It's called Epsidic Project. It really contains a set of files of various encodings. And those various encodings are really controlled by the .git attributes file. So as you can see, we have a utf8.sh script that's encoded in ASCII. Another script, my_37, encoded in IBM_37. And similarly with utf8.txt, it's encoded in utf8. So what we expect is when we clone this repository, that each of those files will be tagged appropriately. So let's take the URL from here, go back to our terminal. Let me just make sure I have the old one deleted. Okay, so now we'll type in git clone, we'll paste the repository, and now it's going to go through the process of cloning that repo. Okay, so we're seeding into CD or changing the directory into Epsidic Project. And now we can type in ls-lt. And as you can see, the files that we saw in the .git attributes file are being tagged appropriately. So we have the readme file, which is tagged in IBM 1047. And what we're going to use now is actually to edit some of these files so that we can see how Vim is able to understand and interpret the various encodings. And we put in some effort to do that. It also has the ability to preserve the underlying encoding. So if you're editing an Epsidic file and save it, it's going to keep it in Epsidic. So now let's take a look at this other file, utf8.sh. And as you can see, that is also being rendered correctly as well. And as you can see, some of the characters here are being rendered. These are UTF-8 characters. Well, let's take a look at the last one here, utf8.txt. And over here, we can even render emojis and CLI, which is really cool to see. Okay, so the next thing I want to show you now is a true repository. We're going to take a look at the Vim source code. So the Vim source code is located in github.com/vim/vim. We're going to grab the source code here, copy this. First, we're going to delete the old one. Okay, we don't have it. So now we'll type in git clone. We'll paste that, and now it's going to go through the process of cloning Vim. All right, perfect. So now we can cd into Vim. As you can see, the source is under the source directory. Now we can actually edit one of the files in Vim. So we'll use Vim, and then we'll edit buffer.c. One of the things you'll notice is that syntax highlighting is automatically enabled with the Vim that we packaged through the zopen community. You can easily navigate through it. If you couple this with other plugins, which Harita is going to show you, you can really enhance your Vim experience, point where it's really like a full-fledged IDE. One other thing I want to show you about Vim is that we've also enhanced it to support datasets. So now you can type in Vim, followed by a PDSC or PDS and a member, and you can start editing it. Okay, so this is a COBOL member residing in a dataset. As you can see, it also has syntax highlighting supported as well. So we have a way to map low-level qualifiers to their Unix extension, and that's able to provide us with the syntax highlighting support. So I can even go ahead and change the name, correct it over here, and I will save this, and I will quit it. And then if I use Vim again, you can see that it's been reflected. That data set has now been updated with my change. Okay, so now the next step will be to go back to this, and let's say we're doing a lot of edits to the Vim source code. So we're going to actually quit this, and we're going to get back into the buffer.c file, and we're going to be using tmux. So I already started a tmux session. You can just type in tmux, and that will start a tmux session. And then you can use one of the shortcuts to split your terminal session into multiple panes. So I'm going to do that and create a horizontal session. And then I'm going to create also a vertical session. Then I'm going to also create a horizontal session. So now you can see we have 3 different panes. On the left, we're editing Vim. And you know what? Let's actually make this a little bit smaller. So you can use your mouse as well to change the width and the height of your panes. And now we're going to navigate to the Vim directory. We're going to use GitHub CLI to list all the pull requests for Vim. So if you type in GH, which is the GitHub CLI command, followed by PR and then list, it will list all of the pull requests in the given repository. So rather than going to your browser, you can actually do all this in the CLI. So now if I wanted to view the details of a particular pull request, I can type in GH PR view, and it will take around the 115.902. And it's going to load it up, and you can actually view the pull request details in more detail. You can also view the comments that have been added all directly on the CLI. Okay, so now the last thing that I wanted to show you here is how you can use LazyGit to be able to navigate through your Git commits more effectively. So we'll go again back to the Vim directory. Now we'll type in LazyGit and press enter. All right, so there's a couple of ways in which you can navigate this, but I usually use tab to navigate through the various panes. So here it's listing all the branches. I can press enter and look at them in more detail. So I just press enter, and now we can look at each of the commits that have been made to the master branch. And as you can see, the details are being shown on the right-hand side. If I press enter on this again, you can see that I can also navigate through each of the changes that are made for each of the files and view those in much more detail. So this is a really great way of you for navigating particular commits and looking at them in more detail. And I use this quite a bit myself. Okay, so that concludes the demonstration of how you can actually enhance your ZOS Unix development experience. The other thing I wanted to talk about is how you can do this for your, let's say you're doing system administration, how you can enhance your ZOS Unix experience if you're a system administrator. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to close this pane and this one as well. And we're going to get out from Vim. Now, typically system administrators are editing parm libs. Now what I wanted to show you is how you can edit a parm lib. There it is. All right, so now we're going to edit a parm lib with Vim. Let's see how that displays. Perfect. So we can actually now go in and edit it. I don't have permission to edit it on my system, but if you're a system admin and you have super user authority, you will be able to edit that particular parm lib. Now, let's do the same thing, create a vertical pane. And now what we're going to do is try to use C3270 to be able to log into TSO. C3270, I'm logging in onto our system, and it's using a secure port of 992. Now I'll press enter. And as you can see, we are now in our TSO session. We can type in TSO and enter our credentials, and we can use ZOS Unix to not only edit files, but also now navigate and enter TSO and ISVF. The other thing I wanted to show you here is, let's say you're running out of disk space and you want to use a tool to be able to identify the files and directories that are taking up the most space. So we'll go into the bin directory and we'll type in ncdu followed by dot, and this will do a disk analyzation on that particular system recursively, or that particular file directory recursively. So it's completed, and now we can see that the .git directory is using up 77 megabytes. I can go ahead and actually press D to delete this entire directory, and as you can see, it clears that up, and I can go in and delete this other one, which is using 26 megabytes, and then also the source directory, and now quit it, and now I've saved over 100 megabytes just by using the ncdu, and as you can see, those directories are no longer there. All right, so the other thing I wanted to show you is the color support. So if you type in ls -- color core utils, it's able to visually identify what are the directories, what are the files, what are the executables, and you can have this set as a default using an environment variable as well. So just a couple of things I wanted to show you. In the next session, Kavita is going to talk to you about how you can enhance your Vim development environment to add additional plugins that can really optimize your development productivity on ZOS.
So we'll listen to a little bit of Haritha. We may not have time for all of that demo, but we will give her some opportunity to talk about plugins.
Today I'm going to walk you guys through the Vim plugins, which are the plugins for text editor called Vim. As you all know, it's a very highly customizable text editor. So Vim plugins actually enhance the Vim capabilities, and they also add specific functionalities, right? And these streamline the development task and also the overall experience for the user. So I have few Vim plugins in mind, like in order to demonstrate today, but in order to manage all these plugins, we are going to use Vim plug, which is a plugin manager. And the installation steps for this plugin manager is also very simple. We'll start off with installing the plugin manager, and then we will edit the .vimrc file, which is actually the configuration file used by the plugin manager, and we will edit that and see how do we add the plugins which we want to use, and then further install them, and I'll demonstrate how do we use this plugins, right? So let's get started. I have shared my terminal, so what we do is we'll go to the home directory now. I assume that all of us have installed curl, which is the tool from the zopen community, and also we have installed Vim, right? So just now Igor demonstrated how do we install curl and Vim, right? So I assume you already have that, and now I'm going to run a curl command in order to download this plugin manager, right? So that's the curl command what I use. There you go. That's very simple. We have the plugin manager in place now. So let us edit the Vim RC file, which is .vim RC file, which is a configuration file for the plugin manager, right? So I have this setup already, right? Like I've just added few information here. What I've done is I've added all the plugins what I'm going to demonstrate and what I want to use, right? In between this plug begin and plug end calls, right? So between this I have added these lines And also I have done some customization of all these plugins here. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to source this Vim RC file, right? So I'm sourcing this .vim RC file below, like last line. So I've done that. Now it is done, and I'm going to install these plugins using plug install command. I've already installed it, and that's why it says already installed, but otherwise you will see this couple of seconds which it will take to install all the plugins, right? Now we are good to go. Okay, so the .vim file is configured now with all the plugins what I want to use and uh, set today. Now, okay, now I'm going to go to a code repository here, which is GPG port, which is a security tool called GNU-PG, and I'm going to walk you guys as to how do I use it, right? Because this is something which has been very helpful for me. So this is the code base, right? So let me just quickly do an ls here before I vim on it. So this is the code base here. You see these are the, like we were seeing yesterday, these are the configuration files which are used by the build framework and CI/CD pipeline and all of it, but the code actually lies in this, right? So I'll go to this directory here. So there you go. You see that there are several directories and files also inside this GNU-PG slash hyphen 2.4.4. Under this directory we have several other subdirectories and also files, right? So I'm going to get into this G10 directory and open this file armor.c, right? So I'm going to press T, which is going to open this armor.c in a new tab. I can actually navigate between these tabs, right, using GP command, right? This looks wonderful. Now say for some reason I have closed this tab, right? I've closed this tab and I am here. I don't want to go back to the directory to navigate through all my files, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leverage a plugin called Nerdtree, right? So there we go. We have the directory open here towards the left. This is the directory structure what we have, and I can navigate through all the files using this. I don't have to come back come out of Vim and then open a new file and then go back again to and fro, right? So I don't need to do that. I can be in the Vim editor and then do what I want to do. Now I want to open a file called callagent.c, right? So I'm going to press T and it's going to open for me in a new tab, right? So this is something very helpful. Like Nerdtree is actually a plugin which will help you to navigate through directory structures, and it has several other functionalities to offer. Say for example, this is the menu, the directory structure here. I'll open the menu of Nerdtree. So what I want, it has several features to offer. Like you can add a file inside this directory structure, you can delete the file, you can copy the file, or you can also understand which, if you have highlighted a file here, say callagent.c, if I want to see the full path, like where exactly this file.
So we're gonna cut that a little bit short today due to time restrictions, and I want to finish the talk as well. So let's return to the talk and slideshow, current slide. How this came about was thanks to the community, and particularly we want to thank our university collaborators and the ZOS community in general. If you want to get in touch, just go to zopen.community or contact us on the Discord channel or attend our monthly guild meetings. What's next? Well, we have a whole bunch of tools that are on our to-do list, and some of them just need to be completed. They're partially completed. Some of them are good to go, just need to be maintained. The number one request right now is Rust, and we're looking into that. I did want to mention Open Enterprise Foundation. So if you're installing ZOS, This is available to you as a bypassable requisite. And basically, it's a bunch of tools that come from the zopen community project, specifically get, bash, curl, make, perl, dim, wes, and ncurse is available to you directly as part of ZOS. Here's some resources, some links you can click to get in touch with us. And we're very delighted to be part of the Open Mainframe project. This is what helps us promote our project and provides us with help and resources which will allow us to move forward and grow in the future. Here are the other projects, part of Open Mainframe, the charities that this conference is supporting, and a feedback form. Thank you very much.